In this video, we will demonstrate how to complete the IDEM Lead Service Line Inventory Template for Community Water Systems, or CWS. This spreadsheet, provided by IDEM, will capture the necessary information to complete a water service line inventory as required by US EPA lead and copper rule revisions. It can be readily uploaded into an online portal that IDEM will use to receive inventories and make the information publicly accessible. Before diving into the template, let us talk about the essential component of water systems. A service line is a pipe that connects a property or building to a public water system. As you can see from the image, the community water systems have the system-owned portion and customer-owned portion. Often, ownership of the service line changes at the road curb stop, property line, or shutoff valve or meter box. The pipe's materials on both the publicly and privately owned side must be inventoried. You can see an example of a community water system with a master meter and multiple service lines pulled from the EPA Small Entity Compliance Guide. This spreadsheet, provided by IDEM, will capture the necessary information to complete a water service line inventory as required by US EPA lead and copper rule revisions. It can be readily uploaded into an online portal that IDEM will use to receive inventories and make the information publicly accessible. The IDEM template consists of 3 worksheets: Instructions, Inventory Methods, and Detailed Inventory Entry. The Instructions sheet is a general overview of the template. The information on the Inventory Methods page will not be pulled into the online portal, but it is a good idea to fill out this section to be prepared to answer the questions on the portal. Part 1 of the Inventory Methods sheet includes recorded information like a historical data review, tap cards, permits, etc. Be sure to provide records along with the level of confidence, selecting options of high, medium, or low. Part 2 is for identifying lines during normal operations, and Part 3 is for methods used to identify service line investigations. Note that the certification at the end of this sheet can be left blank. Now, let us focus on the Detailed Inventory Entry sheet, where you will provide specific details about the service lines in your water system. Starting with columns A to H, you will fill in general information and location details. It is critical that all service lines are included. In some cases, there may be more than one service line at the same street address, and that is okay. We will be using an example address ABC, and all the required location information is already filled in. If the building age is known, the construction year can be entered in column I. The service lines for buildings constructed after March 1987 can be assumed to be non-lead. We assume the building to be constructed in 1985. Column J asks whether this location serves a sensitive population, such as a school or daycare, which may be more vulnerable to lead exposure. We assume that it serves a sensitive population, like a daycare. In column K, it asks if the location is a disadvantaged community. If your system has lead lines or galvanized lines requiring replacement, you may include whether the property is in an area eligible for special funding through the State Revolving Fund managed by IFA. A link to instructions on how to make this decision can be found at the top of the column. Now, we get to the gray columns, which is the information for the system-owned portion. Typically, this portion is from the main to the curb stop. For column L, select Type of Material from the dropdown. You can see here all the types including lead, different plastic types, galvanized, and unknown are available in the dropdown. For our example, we are going to select PVC from the dropdown. For column M, answer yes or no if the service line is known to have lead. Columns N and O require you to enter the service line installation or replacement date and the appropriate pipe diameter from the drop-down menu, respectively. In our example, since the building was built in 1985, we assume the service line installation date to be 1986, and the service line size to be 3 inches. The next three columns are methods used to determine the pipe material. These columns help to determine if you have sufficient evidence to verify the service line material. Column P asks for the basis of material classification. Suppose the service line material classification is based on records available. Select Records from the drop-down menu in this column. In columns Q and R, you will indicate whether the service line material has been verified, yes or no, from the drop-down, and provide the appropriate field verification method. For instance, if the material has been verified and the method used was excavation, choose it from the drop-down. For column S, enter the year of field verification as September 1st, 2023. Any additional information may be entered in column T. Column U to AB is the customer-owned portion details, which should mirror the system-owned portion information. This is not necessary for non-transient, non-community water systems. Columns AC and AD require you to select appropriate values for the drop-down menu to indicate the presence of a lead connector and lead solder in the service line, respectively. A lead pigtail gooseneck or connector does not make it a lead line. For instance, if there is no connector or a lead solder, you will choose No in column AC and AD. Column AE provides space for other connections if necessary. For example, if there are any additional details about lead, you will explain them in this column. In column AF, you will choose the building type from the drop-down menu. For example, if it is a child care facility, you will select Child Care Facility in this column. Columns AG to AI ask if it is known whether a point-of-use treatment device, such as a faucet filter, is installed, whether or not the interior building plumbing containing copper pipe with lead solder installed before March 1987, and whether the location is an approved tier site for LCR compliance sampling. Choose Yes or No from the drop-down. In most cases, systems may not be able to answer these unless a customer is included in a site sampling plan. Columns AJ and AK require information about any lead service line replacements done previously. Since this is a CWS, we enter the date in column AJ and AK, date of system-owned LSLR and customer-owned LSLR, if they have been replaced at any point. Lastly, columns AL to AP will automatically populate based on the data entered. You can see that the spreadsheet has assigned a Tier 5 sampling tier and non-lead for the lead service line category in inventory column. Completing the IDEM lead service line inventory template is a vital step in safeguarding drinking water for current and future customers. All public water systems, including non-transient, non-community water systems, should have received an email in April with a link and instructions to set up an Access Indiana account and 120 Water Portal account to which the service line material inventory can be submitted. To learn more, please visit IDEM's website or the Alliance for Indiana Rural Water. Thank you for watching this video training on how to use Indiana Lead Service Line Excel template. For additional information, contact litap@arcadis.com orinh2o.org.